Hi, it's Steph, and we're at Lowe's, and it is now November, and they have received all of their red pot evergreens, decorative holiday planters, holiday decor, and more. So let's go ahead and take a look at the November inventory at Lowe's. And the red pots are in. Now every year around the holidays, they start getting evergreens and shrubs that are in these red containers. Now you can use these for seasonal decor. Putting some evergreens outside for the winter, you can put some string lights on them, are always a great idea, but they can also be planted in the landscape. And as long as your ground isn't frozen, you can still plant. Just make sure to water until the ground freezes. Now this is the North Pole Arborvitae, which is a really popular variety by proven winners. It is a more compact and narrow arborvitae, very similar to the emerald green varieties. They may even be of the same family. And if so, that means that they would not be as deer resistant. So if you have a fenced in yard, but you want a green backdrop, or if you don't have a lot of space and maybe you don't deal with deer, these are a great option. They only get to be 10 to 15 feet tall and 3 to 5 feet wide, and they are hardy in USDA growing zones 3 through 8 or down to negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Arborvitae do like sun in order for them to perform best. Otherwise, they get a little sparse and they just won't be as happy. They also like water, so make sure that you water them regularly, especially if they're newly planted. And because these are a narrow variety, look how nice they look in a grouping like this. They make a really pretty statement in a garden. But these here are $32.98 for a 2-gallon container. And another one of my favorites is the lemon thread false cypress, or the gold mop cypress. And that is because they have a beautiful golden color. And now as we head into winter, when all of our perennials are dormant and there's not much to look at outside, if you have these beautiful, colorful evergreens, you will still have some winter interest in your garden. Now these do love full sun. Anytime that you have an evergreen that is either a golden yellow or a blue, they will have the best coloring in full sun. If you give them too much shade, they will be a bit more green, like you see on the undersides of the foliage where they don't get as much sun. Now this variety here, the lemon thread false cypress, is an accent evergreen. You can see how pretty it is with that graceful kind of arching growth habit. These are $29.98 in a 2.65 gallon container. They're very hardy, down to a zone 4. And this variety gets to be 3 to 5 feet in height, 2 to 4 feet in width. Now I do deal with deer in my garden and they do not touch these, which is wonderful. And they have a few here at my store. And right beside it, they have the Little Giant Arborvitae. Now these are also pretty deer resistant because they're part of that green giant variety, and they grow in a spherical or round shape, which is great because if you want to get a rounded evergreen, most people think of boxwood, but those typically have to be clipped in order to maintain that round shape. Well, this Little Giant Arborvitae will naturally grow in that shape, and they don't need to be clipped or pruned. They are very hardy as well, down to a zone 3 or negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and over time this variety will get 4 to 6 feet tall and wide, and it likes full sun. Now, anytime that you see the growth on the tags, that is usually a 10-year garden size, so a 10-year range. Any evergreen or shrub can grow beyond the size listed if they are happy in their growing conditions and over time. And on the opposite end of that, they can also sometimes be smaller depending on their growth conditions and your location. And right beside it, they have another evergreen that has a spherical or round growth habit, and this is the Mr. Bowling Ball Arborvitae. Now this one kind of has a looser habit. So these are both arborvitaes, you can see side by side. This one has more of a kind of a ferny thread-like foliage. This one has kind of a looser, wilder look to it, or growth habit. And it also has a bit of a blue hint to it. Now these are $34.98, and they're a 2.3 gallon container. They also like full sun, and they're a bit more compact, getting only about 24 to 30 inches in height, 24 to 30 inches in width, and very hardy, down to a zone 3 or negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And a third variety of arborvitae that also grows in a round or spherical shape, this is the Fire Chief Arborvitae. And look at this beautiful coloring. Now I have these in my garden and I absolutely love them. They get the most interesting winter color, which is what is happening here now. So in the spring and in the summer, they have a gorgeous chartreuse limey green coloring with a hint of yellow. The new growth tips are usually like a coral or orangey color. And then as we get cooler temperatures in late fall and winter, they go a shade of bronze. So they're very interesting the way that they change colors. Also in a growth habit of around a shrub, they get to be about 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. So the average size is 4 by 4. And they're hardy to a zone 3 or down to negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And these are $34.98. They decorated the cute cabana shed for Christmas. I had been here over the summer, closer to the Labor Day sale, and they had this adorable cabana set up for fall. And this is perfect for the backyard if you like to serve cocktails or drinks during backyard parties, or even as a little roadside flower selling shed or veggie selling shed. It is so cute. There is a door on the side. There's also a window, as you can see here. And then there is the front that kind of pops open and creates sort of an awning. But this is adorable. $18.99 for this 8x7 cabana shed. And the Alberta spruce. Now, I'm not a huge fan of these in the garden. I think they grow really densely. And in my opinion, I don't find them too interesting, but they are compact and they will offer evergreen interest. So if you don't have a lot of space, they're a good option, and they don't get very large. So only about 6 feet in height at most, and 3 to 4 feet in diameter. So here it tells you that they're hardy to a zone 4 down to negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Average mature size 3 to 4 feet high, 3 to 4 feet wide. So they do get about 3 to 4 feet in width, but I would say they get closer to 5 or so feet in height. And they are deer resistant, which is also another good benefit of these. Now they look really cute, decorated for Christmas. You can put some string lights on them, use them as outdoor evergreen containers. They will do well all winter long and provide something to look at. And these are $32.98 for this 1.71 gallon container. And they have these adorable small arborvitaes and Alberta spruces. So the Alberta spruces are in a decorative planter with a red bow. So you can put these out, or, you know, to decorate for the holidays, or even gift them. Maybe you know someone who just moved into a new home. So these are in the holiday container for $21.98. And they're very cute. You can even write on the tag. And then the small arborvitaes, these are the emerald green, I can tell by the texture, and they're $17.98 with a decorative bow. And some pretty 2-gallon arrangements that you can put on a porch, by a garage, very pretty. And these are $29.98. It looks like there are some sprigs of spruce, as well as some decorative picks and some birch logs. Now these don't have roots. These are just cuttings that are stuck into the soil. You keep them outside, they'll stay fresh. Usually with the rain and the snow is enough to keep them going. If you do have some dry and windy weather, you would want to supplement with water. But these don't have roots, so they can't be planted, unlike the ones that you see here in the pots, like the Alberta spruces and the arborvitae, etc. Those can be planted out into the garden. And look at these gorgeous planters. So beautiful. In the whiskey barrel planter, you have some spruce, a large pine cone, an ornament, some berries. So pretty. Now, I do love to cut evergreens from my garden and make my own containers. I have a video I just recently posted on how to do that. So if you have a lot of evergreens, you can be creative and use these as inspiration. But $49.98 for this large container. If you want to just get something ready-made, they have plenty here at my Lowe's. They also have these here, the large square whiskey barrel planters for $44.98. The same thing, they have spruce, a birch log, some pine cones, a ribbon, and some berries. And the mistletoe buckets. These are real cute. You can reuse all of these containers as well. These pine cones are frosted, and there are some berry picks and even some white twigs. Again, you can have twigs in your garden that you can spray paint if you wanted to use these as inspiration, or you can buy them for $39.98. You get a ready-made container. And look at these beauties. These are gorgeous. So it looks like there's some blue spruce, because there is a hint of blue on that spruce, some really large pine cones. You can recycle these pine cones, the planter, the berry picks, all of this can be used from year to year. There is a welcome plaque that looks like metal, but it is plastic, and that is another component that can be reused. And all of this beautiful greenery. There looks like there's some weeping cedar at the bottom, and these are $64.98 each. The extra large welcome pot. So very pretty. They also have the cedar log box planters for $29.98. Now these I do believe would have to be outside planters unless you put something underneath them to catch the moisture, but they are also very nice looking. They would make a great centerpiece if they could be used outside or even for a cemetery. $29.98 on these, and you get a bow, pine cones, berries, and it looks like this is actually plastic cedar, but some spruce in these as well. And look at these really pretty lanterns. Now these are something you could use for a centerpiece. They have this box here with a tapered candle, some berries, it looks like eucalyptus foliage, oh, the junipers with the little blueberries. Let's see how much these are. Holiday centerpiece, $19.98. Very cute. And then look at these lanterns right behind. It looks like some spruce, and then you have this decorative bow with some greenery and a pine cone. And these are very lightweight, $39.98, and it's a wooden lantern. This one here is ginormous and so gorgeous. $99.98 on this one. It even has some pine cones hanging on the front. Look at this. Golden pine cones. They're like ornaments. The draping cedar and the spruce. Some eucalyptus sprays in there. Some birch logs, some berries. So very pretty. These little ones are so cute as well. $19.98. It's an oval window box planter, and there is a red bow. It's in a cream, kind of a stone look container with a pine cone and a really cute little cardinal. Very pretty. And some really pretty kissing balls. Now these are adorable. I actually love these. So in the summertime, if you like to hang hanging baskets on your front porch, these would be a great winter alternative. Now let's see how much they are. There's some pine cones and some ornaments, and of course some ribbon. And here's the price tag. So the kissing balls are $39.98 each. These pine cones are gorgeous. Look how impactful they are. These are 14-inch decorative urn planters for $49.98. Very pretty. Again, there is the cedar, the spruce. I love the way this drapes. So beautiful. A lot of times, Christmas tree farms, when they cut trees, the bottom, they'll have some of those leftover branches. A lot of times they're, likely to give them away. So you can always check in where they do the Christmas tree wrapping to see if there's any greenery that you can take if you don't have evergreens that you can cut from. And it smells so nice around the holidays to have fresh greenery around. Some beautiful grapevine wreaths. Look at this. And these are $24.98. They're a great size, and they have some decorative elements on top with the pine cones, the velvet bow, some ivy leaves. These are good size. Look at this. You can kind of see the back of it here. But they could be hung on a fireplace. They can also be hung on a front door, even on the siding of the house. Command strips are great for that kind of thing. But these are real pretty. Let's see if I could tell the diameter of them. Sometimes they'll list it. No, it doesn't say. My best guess is that this is a 20 to 24 inch diameter. They're really large. And some more smaller arrangements for $22.98. Again, they have some cedar, some spruce, and berries, as well as pine cones. And these have a burlap wrapped planter. And $22.98 for these. one of the milk can planters. I really love the junipers with these blueberries. I don't have one in my garden, but I'm going to plan on planting one so that I can cut from it for Christmas arrangements. So this one's also $22.98, and you can always fluff up these bows once you bring them home. But these juniper evergreens, I really love that. And garland. So this is real garland, not artificial, 20 feet white pine for $19.98. So you can use these over your door on the front porch. They'll stay nice and cool and fresh. You can use them indoors, either over a doorway or even on top of your fireplace mantle. Look at these. They're spooled up so that they're easier to carry, but they look really healthy and fresh. And they also have 20 feet cedar garland for $24.98. Look at this. So beautiful. I really love the wispy kind of drape that this type of greenery has. I think it looks so beautiful. And these are all so healthy. We've been getting some rain. The temperatures are cool, so they are really happy, both the white pine and the cedar. Some wreaths. Now these are plain wreath forms, rail, natural material, $12.98 for a 22-inch wreath. And they also have some decorative wreaths with the pine cones and red velvet bows for $27.98. These are 24-inch mixed noble wreaths with some decorative accents. These with some berries. What is that, a lotus flower pod? I believe that's what that is. There is also the Mary Berry wreath for $34.98, and these are gorgeous. They are so full and they have lots of different greenery on them. If you're comparing prices, the 22-inch wreath with a bow is $16.98 here at Lowe's. And some bundles of greens and decorative accents. So if you want to make your own containers, look at that. These look really good. And it is $12.98 for this bundle of greens. They have lots of them here. Now they also have some that don't have any decorative accents. Let's see how much those are. So $8.98. Look at this. They have bundles of these beautiful juniper berries. I call them juniper berries, but it's junipers with the berries, right? And these are $8.98 as well. I did post a video, like I said, last weekend of how to make your greens containers. So if you didn't hear me say that earlier, go ahead and check that out on my channel. It shows you what my process is for going around, how to cut the greens, how to arrange them to keep them happy and fresh throughout the winter. And this here is some cedar. No, I'm sorry, some spruce, $8.98. Noble fir, actually. I've been calling them spruces all along because they look very much like my blue spruce, but they are much softer than the spruce now that I'm thinking about it. So these are actually noble fir. $8.98 for these bundles. And then they also have this wispy, beautiful cedar that I love. And these are $8.98. Look at that. This would make a great swag too, to hang on a door. And it's fragrant, which is awesome. I really love the smell of fresh evergreens, really reminiscent of this time of year. And the bundles of birch logs. They've had these for a couple of years now. They are beautiful. You can reuse these from year to year. My recommendation would be to keep it in a dry spot. So if you are going to put them on display on a porch, maybe under a covered porch area so that they don't get wet. And these are $18.98. It does say that it is for indoor or outdoor use. These would also look really nice on the hearth of a fireplace. Very pretty. These are they some wreaths or bundles? Let's see what these are. Oh, a decorated memorial blanket. So if you're going to put anything at the cemetery for the holidays, $29.98. And they kind of just sit. It looks like you can either sit them or hang them from a headstone. And look at these adorable items. It looks like they have some wooden holiday trees as well as some wooden snowmen. And so the holiday trees and the small snowmen are $9.98. And then they also have these boxes that have a plastic lining, which is excellent, and you can make your own arrangements in them. They're made out of small logs. First time I've seen these here. Look at that. You can sit a poinsettia in it like they have in the photo. It's a 2-pack birch planter. And these are $19.96. Oh, even a little mini birdhouse. This would make a nice ornament. And how much is the birdhouse? Let's see. $9.98 as well. And the large pine cones. Now this is something they've had for the last couple of years as well, along with those birch logs we just looked at. And they're hanging on a decorative ribbon. And they have some berries on them and some faux greenery. And these are $15.98. These would also look really nice hanging from a door for the holidays. They also have some bundles of cut white pine for arrangements. And these are $8.98. Great size. Here in the Northeast, we have an abundance of white pine. I have tons of these on my property that I'm fortunate enough to be able to cut from. And some hanging decorative Merry Christmas bells. They don't actually make noise, but they're very pretty. It almost looks like an upside down planter that they made into bells, right? These are $19.98 and they come in white and in red with some greenery on top and a bow. They have a decorative sled here with these golden reindeer, prancing reindeer. And I don't know if they're sold as a set. My guess is that they're individual for $2.59. This would make a great display altogether, right? The sled with the reindeer. And some cute holiday gnomes for $44.98. I've actually seen some people get really creative and make gnomes out of their small evergreens in their garden, whether it be an arborvitae or a Alberta spruce. You can just put a hat on it, get a Santa beard, maybe use a potato or a painted ornament as the nose. Very cute. We're inside now and we're going to look at a few things. So these are really popular this time of year. These are the Norfolk pines. But notice how they're inside Lowe's and not outside in the garden center. That's because these are not cold tolerant. They're more tropical in nature. And so these are a good option for an indoor Christmas tree. Let's say you don't put up a tree anymore, but you want something that still reminds you that it is the holiday season. This is a good option. It's also great for gift giving. And these have gift tags on them. Some of them have a couple of ornaments and they are $24.98 and they're a pretty good size. You can even put a little battery operated string light set on them. Very festive. They also have smaller ones here that you can gift someone maybe to put on their desk for the holidays. These are all by Costa Farms, which they make the house plants. And the smaller ones here are $12.98. And the little ones are $6.98. They're very cute. Look at that. Some wreaths. Now this is a berry wreath for $34.98. I think that's really pretty. I love the simplicity of it. And then there is a flocked wreath on the side. Doesn't look too large, maybe an 18-inch or so, $39.98. And a poinsettia wreath, which is really unique. That, $34.98. My store doesn't have a ton of garland left, but they do have some. It looks like they had some Real Feel Norfolk pine garland, which you can check online to see if they might still have it, on an early Black Friday sale for $34.98. Oh, it looks like they might still have one here. It does feel nice. It's got that rubbery feel, so it's softer, and the wire is covered, so if you're going to put it on something like an entertainment center, it's less likely to scratch, or even down a table as a holiday centerpiece. And then they have this one here that is the cedar feel garland for also $34.98. And let's see the length. These are 6-foot garlands. I really love the look of these realistic garlands, but they're faux, so inside the house you don't have to worry about them drying out with the heat, and they look so realistic. And then there's this one here with some decorative ornaments and some magnolia leaves $39.98. And then look at this. They also have that Real Look Soft Touch cedar wreath for $34.98. That is really pretty. It's on one of those grapevine forms. And then there's another grapevine wreath here with the greenery down the bottom. I also like these with the half decorated wreaths. I think they're simple but really beautiful. And it's called the Corona wreath, 26 inches with a velvet bow, $49.98. I don't actually think this is the right spot for this because it says LED wreath. This one doesn't look like it has any lights on it. This might be the spot for it. Frosted berry wreath. It's also the Corona. Maybe it's $34.98. And then they have this one here, which looks like a holly type wreath for $34.98. And of course, some with some sparkly gold and silver ornaments for $39.98. And look at this one. This is gorgeous. Oh, so pretty. Now this one's also named Corona. Here is the item number on it. You can pause the video and jot that down if it was something you were interested in. It is also a 28-inch wreath, that grapevine form, with some decorative accents across the bottom. You get these frosted pine, some pine cones, some berries, and a pretty bow. And they also have the Norfolk pine wreaths that have that real soft touch feel. And these are 24 inches, $34.98. I absolutely love the look of these. It looks like someone bought the whole Rudolph setup that they had here a few weeks back. It was quite expensive. They had the snowman and Rudolph and all of the characters, but they've replaced it with some of the Whoville characters. They have the dog, the little girl, and of course the Grinch. They have a Christmas Carol Mickey and a Jack Skellington. The Jack is $198. He just made noise as I walked by to check out the poinsettias. Now these are the 1 quart poinsettias. They're currently $198, but they are going to go on sale for Black Friday at 2 for $3. So if you're looking to buy some poinsettias, that might be a good time to pick them up. And here is some of the classic red, but oftentimes they also get them in pink and in white. Here's a quick look at some more of the decorative holiday items that they have here at Lowe's. They have some of the clear that almost looks like ice, right, with the iridescent lighting. And then they have the gingerbread, which is really popular this year. The joy sign, kind of looks like a gingerbread arch. And then some Santas and a sleigh. A snowman and a nutcracker. And of course, some of these bears, they had these last year, very cute. A little kitty and a pup. A nativity scene. And some more deer and trees and presents in this glittery gold coloring. They also have ribbon here, so if you're looking to pick up some ribbon to make some new bows for the season, they have some options. They also have some ready-made bows. This one's actually real pretty with the nutcrackers and the green velvet. And the ready-made bows are $15.98. And the ribbon looks like they're assorted varieties. I'm sure that depending on the type, you'll get different yardage. So this one here, it looks like you get 2.5-inch ribbon. It is wired, $6.98 per roll. They have a pretty silver velvet, a blue velvet, and they also have these patterns here. Gingerbread, woodland, cardinals, some candy cane striping, and some red velvet. And some artificial decorative trees and some wreaths. So they have these really large wreaths in the back there, 48 inches. So you can put them on the side of a garage. That would look really nice if you have a barn. And these are the 48-inch Scottsdale wreath. They're color changing and they're $84.98. They also have a 60-inch one for $109 down below. And then there are these ornament towers, or ornament trees, I believe is what they call them, in a decorative black urn, and they have them in silver and in gold. And these are $59.98 each. They are 3 feet tall. They call them the ornament tree, porch decor. I can only find the price on one of the potted trees. I think the one in the black pot here with the colored lights, and this one here, they're a lot fuller, very pretty in that basket type planter. Those are $74.98. And then there is a smaller or a more sparse type tree. It looks like a pine with a burlap sack around the base. And that one is $39.98. Let's see that right here. It's a 4-foot tree with a burlap base, $39.98, and the other trees are $74.98. They also have a light post here, which I don't see up, but it is a 6-foot light post with a swag. And this one here by Holiday Living is also $119. They have some lighted artificial wreaths and garlands. The thing I'm finding with a lot of these wreaths and garlands now is that they are battery operated, which is great if you don't have a power source nearby. The problem is that if you use them outside, the batteries tend to die really quickly because it is cold out. At least that has been my experience. Look at those huge wreaths up there. So very pretty. Those are already decorated and they have some flocking going on, which is that white snow effect that you see. And they are $129 for the 48-inch wreath. So they have a 9-foot LED garland. And oh, this one does look like it's plug-in, which is excellent because there's a plug here. That's good. Especially if you want to use more than one, you can plug them into one another. And if you have an outlet, then you don't have to worry about the batteries dying, right? And that one is $39.98 for the 9-foot garland with with lights. And then they have the matching 26-inch wreath for $34.98. This is called the Hayden wreath. This one does have a battery pack. You can see that right there, instead of a plug, but the garland appears to have a plug. I always think that these are so cool, especially at night when it's dark. So pretty. They're like neon. You just see the outline, and they have different items. So they have the round ornament ball, the Christmas tree in the back there. They have 2 styles of Christmas trees, the deer, and then the grouping of snowmen. These hanging sphere balls are beautiful. Another option that you could hang in place of hanging baskets on a porch. Or even if you have a large tree in the front yard, they would look really nice hanging from a tree. The LED snowman family is $199. And then they have the 24-inch lighted ornament ball, and that one is $99. And then they also have the 18-inch lighted ornament, and that one is $94.98. The LED reindeer is $329, and then they also have the Color Effect Color Tech tree in the 9-foot height for $199, and then they have the 7-foot height for $139. Look at that pretty puffy red bow, $24.98 for that. That'd look beautiful on a wreath. And then they also have classic red velvet tree topper bows in different sizes available and at different price points. And some of the LED candlesticks that go in the windows for the holidays. These look beautiful. If you have a colonial or any style house, even a cape, I have been tempted to put them in my windows. I just never wanted to go around and turn them all on. But these have a they're battery operated and they have a timer in them. So they take 2 AA batteries each, and once you turn them on, they stay on for 5 hours. Some of them even have memory so that they'll turn on at that same time every day. These have that old-fashioned look to them with the melted wax and the loop for your finger. They have them in brass as well as silver, and they are $6.98 each. And then the other candlesticks, they have this one in a set. They're a little bit more elevated. You can even use these on a table, I suppose, for a centerpiece. $16.98, and then they have this bronze look one. And then there is a multi-pack. You get 6 of the gold for $24.98. And it looks like they flicker, which is also very cool. And then this one is 3 in a row, $12.98. I actually bought some of these LED candles this year. I bought mine on Amazon. They have like the melted wax look also. And the light flickers, very realistic looking. I paid about $9.98 for 3. These are $12.98 it looks like. And then they also have the pillar candles as well. And because I am a gardener, I want to remind you to not forget to spray your plants over winter with some kind of deer and rabbit repellent. When food is scarce, they get more ravenous and they will turn to our plants. Good idea to spray this on a regular basis. I try to do about once every 7 to 10 days. And I sometimes reapply after a rain just to make sure that your plants are protected. And this is one of my favorites, the Liquid Fence Deer and Rabbit, $24.98 for that large container of pre-mixed solution. There is a large selection of artificial trees here at Lowe's as well. So if you are looking for a new tree, there are plenty to choose from. They have different heights and different styles as well as different light counts. Here's my pick for the cutest tree and value for today. It's this Greensboro 7-foot flocked pencil tree. It is a great size pencil tree for $128. So if you have a narrow space or just want a tree that you tuck into a corner, this is a great option. And there is some amaryllis and paper white bulbs available here at Lowe's. They are $9.98 each. These make great gifts, but they're also fun to grow something in the house throughout the winter months. So these are pretty good sized bulbs. You want to plant them with the soil just about 2/3 of the way up, leave some of it exposed. You can water it when you first plant it and then just wait until you start seeing green to water it again. Now this one already has some green coming out so that you could actually already water it on a regular basis once the soil dries out. Put them in a very sunny location. The more sun they get, the better. Otherwise, they don't bloom as well. There is a couple of varieties here. There's the Red Lion, which is a beautiful red color. Then there is the Minerva, which is a red with a bit of white, and the Apple Blossom, which is pink and white. Oh, they also have the white variety and the Red Peacock, which looks like it's a frilly variety, and a Flaming Peacock, the two-tone red and white with extra petals. Very pretty. These are new this year. I hadn't seen, they don't often get the white, and they certainly don't get these extra ruffly ones, so that is great. And the bulbs look really good. Also have paper whites. Now these kits, let's see how much the kits are. They're also $9.98. So you can either get the bulb only or you can get the kit, which comes with a pot and growing medium for $9.98. Paper whites, I think they're a little stinky, but some people really love them. I have a friend who's figured out that if she plants her paper whites around Halloween, they will bloom in time for Christmas. So that's a lot of fun. And look at this, they also have the ready fill containers with holiday arrangements. So these are just grab and drop. You bring them home and you put them into your planters. $22.98 for these, and they fit in a 10 to 12 inch planter. This is the medium size. And they have already begun their setup for the fresh cut Christmas trees that are going to arrive any day now. So if you're looking for a fresh cut tree, Lowe's will have them in the next few days. Well, that brings us to the end of the November inventory here at Lowe's. I hope that you've enjoyed checking out what my store has in stock, and I hope that you can find some of these selections near you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.